Welcome back to Buckle Up. I am excited about this conversation with NFR barrel racer and just all around hand, Lindsay Sears. Lindsay, thank you so much for making time to come and visit. Talk to me about this week. What are you looking forward to and what are you up to this week?
Well, we're just kind of here with our booth. I nominated one of my oldest horse colt out of Martha, SME one of a kind, into the pink buckle. So he'll be a part of the pink buckle in 2022. So we're really excited about that. And we just brought a little booth and we're just going to hang out this week and visit with everybody and watch some great barrel racing. And it's always fun to watch people make great runs for a lot of money, and just visit with everybody in the industry. It's great to kind of be all in the same place and be able to see everybody and all the other stud owners and just visit with everybody. It's just good to see everybody. And I have an open horse that I'll run, I guess, on the weekend. But yeah, so that's about it.
I love that. I would love for you to give us just kind of an update of what life looks like for you these days. What are you excited about? What are you focusing on? Where are you really putting your time these days?
Well, I guess I don't know if I can say that the last year and a half has been a good thing in general, but for me, it's been a great thing. Prior to all of that, I had been going back and forth to Canada to help with our family business. So I would spend 2 weeks or 3 weeks in Canada each and every month, and then I would fly back down to Texas and ride horses for a week or two, and then I would have to go back to work. So because of all of the wonderful stuff going on in the world, I have been primarily down here and able to focus on the horses, which has been a really, really good thing for me. I honestly haven't spent this much time riding horses and focusing on horses since I rodeoed. And so it's been good, and I think it's been a really good thing for our horse program, because when I was gone working all the time, my horse breeding seemed to get a little out of control. And so I'm now coming to terms with all of the horses that I have and what I'm going to have to do with them and plans for them. And just being able to focus on the horses has been truly a blessing in disguise, for sure. And I'm excited to be kind of back in the horse business. For a while, I was just basically working and trying to focus on a whole other aspect of life. So, yeah, I'm excited to be back, kind of focused on the equine program. So.
Well, and I love that you share that a large part of your life is focusing on, business, and you have another career. I think there's a lot of people watching who that's the case for them too. They maybe have a full-time profession that's different than running barrels full-time. So you're a great example of pursuing something, full-time with, like you did with rodeo. Then you enter a different season of life, and now, like you said, you're able to spend more time on it. So I think that's a great thing to share. I would love to know personally, hauling down the road the years that you did, what are some of the top tips that you learned from the School of Hard Knocks on how to keep horses healthy and happy when they're running a lot, when they have a busy schedule?
Oh my goodness. I think air ride in a horse trailer is one of the most important things going down the road. I think if you can make your horse as comfortable as possible in the trailer and make that ride as smooth as possible is so important, because I said for so many years, I don't know that it's the runs that really are hard on your horse in comparison to the miles that you go down the highway. Like it's standing in a trailer for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours is hard on a horse. And it is what it is. And I think you have to get them out. I think getting your horse out every 5, 6, 4, whatever that point is for you or your horse. Like Martha, for example, she had to get out of the trailer every 4 to 5 hours. If she was in there past 5 hours, she was doing something naughty back there. And so we had to get her out often because she was claustrophobic and she didn't love being in the trailer. And so, I think listening to your horse, I think knowing what your horse can handle And I truly believe if you can go less miles and make runs that count, you know, for if you pick the rodeos and the places where you know your horse is going to do good, you know that you have a great chance, you draw on top of the ground, make those runs count, because I truly believe every horse has X amount of runs. I don't care. And each horse has a different number. You know, some horses it might be, 300. Some horses it might be 100. Some horses it might be, 50 or 2 or whatever that number is. There's a limited amount of runs. And so you have to make sure that those runs count for you and your horse. And so, and I just think taking care of your horse, leg care, having them on a good feed program. I always have feed and water in front of my horses in the trailer. I don't care if we're just going 4 hours or we're going 20 hours. They always have feed and water in the trailer. They always get out of the trailer on a regular basis. And just making sure that they can get rest at night. If that means staying somewhere not where the rodeo is, where it's quiet and they can get some rest, I think that's truly so important for these horses, where they can actually lay down, get some quality rest, and they'll be fresh for you when you do need them.
Switching, first of all, that's wonderful insight and that's wonderful advice. Definitely notes to be taken on all of that. Switching gears a little bit, you've talked about these young horses that you have at home, and you self-proclaimed horse hoarder, she said before we got on camera. But I think it's okay to hoard horses that are out of Martha, right? That's fine.
Therapy. I'm not on a couch, but I'm going to pretend like I'm on a couch. We're in therapy for horse hoarding.
It's okay. I'm an enabler. If they're all out of Martha, why would you sell one, right? But when you're thinking about these young horses, what's your program for them? I mean, do you hope to run them as 4s, 5s? Like, you have the rodeo deal mastered. Okay, so now we have a new challenge, and that's futurities. So what are you learning, and what are you pouring into that program?
I am learning that the futurity trainers are amazing at what they do to get their horses running the way they do at 4 years old. And that I am not that girl, that I'm a 5-year-old futurity girl, and I just take a little longer. And whether that's just because I don't really do much with my colts until the end of their 2-year-old year, the beginning of their 3-year-old year, I truly believe in letting a horse grow up and kind of mature before I put a lot of stress on them, because I want my horse to be there when they're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I know that, that my program is not just a futurity program. My program is I might want to go to a rodeo. I might want to, ride my horse on our cattle ranch, or my horses have to do all kinds of things. If they live at my house, they have to be able to be rode on a ranch. They have to, be able to run barrels. They have to do all of these other things. And so I'm just not focused on the futurities. I think that that's a great program for a lot of people, and they've geared these incentive futurities and all of this kind of stuff towards the 4-year-old, trainers and owners, and I think that's great for the industry. I'm kind of an outlier in the fact that time is on my side, I feel like, and so I don't rush and try to get them ready as 4s. I prefer a 5-year-old. I like a horse a little more physically mature and mentally mature when I start trying to put pressure on them. And then in their futurity year as 5s, I'm not afraid to take them to a rodeo. I'm not afraid to go to a futurity. They don't just do futurities. Mine as 5-year-olds are going to go and run at some rodeos, and they're going to do a little of both. So that's my program. Is it the right one? I don't know, but it works for me right now, and mainly just because I was working, and I have a full-time job technically, and then I have the horse thing over here that is also a full-time job. So trying to juggle the two, it's definitely been a struggle. I'm not gonna lie, like it is so hard. I don't know how people do it and do it well. And there are a ton of women out here that do it, and they're boss ladies. I will give them all the credit in the world. And it's a struggle. It is so tough at these barrel races. You have to be on your game. And to compete against girls that just solely do this. They're riding 12, 15 head of horses a day and going to barrel races every weekend. You can't just show up and not have run barrels for 3 months and expect to outrun them. That's not how it works anymore. And so it's been an interesting couple of years trying to get my program, figured out, and what works for me and what works for the horses. And I've just kind of settled into the fact that I'm not going to have a 4-year-old futurity horse. They're going to be 5. It is what it is, and it works for me. So I'm not gonna try to change it.
I love that. I think that is words to the wise of you got to build your program around what works for you.
Yeah, for sure.
My final question for you, and it's a little bit of a fun one, just off the wall, not super serious, but this is not your first interview. You've been interviewed several times, but what is one question that people don't ask you that you wish they asked or you wished that they knew?
Oh my goodness. I am truly an introvert, so interviews are so difficult for me. I just don't think I'm that interesting of a person. And so, everybody always would want to talk about Martha but they always wanted to talk about Martha in the sense of, what she'd done in the rodeo arena. Nobody would ever really ask, like, what is Martha really like? Like, what is she like to be around? Like, what is she like to, how is she at home, and all of those kind of things. And that's what I think I want people to know, is that she's the most amazing creature on the planet. Like, even to this day at 21 years old, if you're leading her to the barn from wherever you're going, she's first. Like, she has to be first. And I think she's putting it into her foals, and I think that is such a cool thing about her. Like, she will never walk in front of Martha. She will drag you wherever she is going, and you're going where she's going. You're not taking her anywhere. And so I think that's a really cool little fun fact about Martha.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And we appreciate your time. So happy to have you involved in the program. And thank you again for your words and for breaking out of the introverted shell. We try to make these easy and fun and painless. And I know people appreciate hearing from you.
Perfect. Thank you very much for having me.
Our pleasure.